Hello, it's John. I'm here in our beautiful little motorhome RV, and you might be able to hear some of the coffee sounds being made in the background and even our heating system just kicking in. I am here today to talk with you about abundance, and in particular abundance of money. A shout out once again to the fabulous Chloe Rose, the Elven Mage of Mystic Hearts here on YouTube, and I'll make sure she's mentioned in the title and a link in the comments. Thank you for her wonderful video about abundance and financial abundance. Has really helped me trigger a lot of curiosity. I did an earlier video today. I'm here in Stirling in the very heart of Scotland, and I was sharing some of the, in addition to Chloe's video, inspired by that, some of the downloads I was experiencing from my spirit guide Maya through my morning meditation. And so I shared a little video about that, and I was so tantalized and intrigued by these concepts that I'd love to learn more. And to do so, we're going to do some channeling today, so I'm going to go ahead and create a safe space. And this is a meditation safe space. Please do join me if this video interests you, because this meditation space is very much a protective space to allow me to channel purely and cleanly, and also for you to receive. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a deep breath in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out what no longer serves, our highest good, nice and loud. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any fear, shame, anxiety or pain, nice and loud. And breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any remaining low vibration energy or emotion that no longer serves you, nice and loud. And continue to breathe deeply and calmly as it feels right for you. And focus your attention on the very center of your heart, where the golden divine spark of your soul enters your human form. And from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light up through the top of your head and reach up into the sky and up into the stars, all the way up through the highest frequencies and dimensions of this universe, until you reach the highest dimension of the source of love of this universe. And there, connect in your light cord into the highest dimension of source. Feeling into that oneness, unity, and unconditional love. Remain connected into source and extend your light cord down to the stars and sky, back down to the top of your head and into your heart once more. And now this time, from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light downwards, down through the base of your spine and deep into the earth, all the way down through the layers of the planet, until you reach the very core of Mother Earth. And there, connecting your light cord into Mother Gaia's crystalline heart. And we send Mother Gaia so much love at this time. Allow her to send her love back. Remain connected into Gaia's heart and extend your light cord all the way up through the layers of the planet, up through the root of your spine and into your heart once more. And now, together with the light of Source above, Mother Gaia below, and your own light, expand out a golden bubble of protective light to surround you, to each side, about 2 meters out, above and below you, in front and behind you. And set the intention that only energies and entities with your permission, your highest good love and compassion can see you, access you, or exist within this space or within you, and that all other energies and entities must leave immediately. Into your safe space, invite in your spirit guides, your higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia, and ask at this time for their guidance, clearing, healing, protection, and assistance with the integration of today's session. And through space and time, I create a golden protective bubble now around all of us who choose to engage with today's video. Setting the intention only energies and entities with my permission and the highest good love and compassion of all can see us, access us, or exist in this session space or within us, and that all other energies and entities must leave immediately. And into the session space, I invite in my spirit guides, my higher self, my ancestors, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia. And I'd like to set the intention today to ask for the assistance of the beautiful beings that I've named and invited in at this time to support us in helping us understand and experience more about abundance, and in particular the one aspect of abundance, which is money. And with this, we can go ahead and get started. Okay. So I did forget my tripod, so I'm holding you with my selfie stick. And I'm going to turn down the heating because it's, not only is it a bit noisy, it is also, it's hot. So let's just turn this down. And my wonderful little coffee machine here, we stayed here overnight, so our camper van's a little bit of a mess. We have a lovely little coffee machine here. Thank you. It's a little filter coffee machine. Uses very little power, which is great. So slurping noise inbound, please. I can't mute this microphone, so please be aware. Okay. So let's go ahead and ask and find out some more about the true nature of the flow of abundance, of money in particular. And I was receiving quite a lot of messages during the safe space set up there. Let me ask a bit more. So just asking my spirit guide Maya to come forwards. Perhaps Maya, you'd like to channel through me and answer the question about, a question to explain more about the true nature of money, the energy of money, abundance of money. Welcome, welcome beautiful souls. Perhaps as I help Jon feel this in his heart right now, there is a beauty to money. It is an abstract energy. Money is an energy all the same. And just as Chloe and as Jon has been explaining, money flows. It flows like water. It is closer to a plasma-like energy. This is to do with its thickness of the energy. Just like any energy, money can be of any frequency. It is not of a fixed frequency. And this is also why abundance can be received in many different ways, from lowest, lower vibration money up to higher vibration money. And perhaps you're familiar with the concepts such as dirty money, perhaps money that had been earned through or stolen through criminal means, and then concept of hard-earned money, money which has been earned through working hard. There is a connection with money and our hearts. The very energy of money connects with our hearts at a resonant frequency when we're both open to giving and receiving at this frequency. Let us now take a walk into the universal river of abundance, which is where money also flows. Please remember throughout the session today that abundance is far more than just money. However, you have asked specifically about money, and this is what we will focus on. Let us take a moment to orientate ourselves. We are stood side by side, hand in hand, in this universal flow of abundance. To understand this, it is easy to think of it as a river that perhaps is flowing to just above waist height, and it's able to sometimes rise up to your heart level. Allow this to happen. allow yourself to be firmly grounded where you are and to feel the abundance of the river flow of money around you. You'll never be pushed off your feet or be swept away. You'll always feel grounded throughout today's video. Remembering you have a strong heart, root chakra, and deep root chakra connection into the earth, grounding you deeply, just as a tree is capable of standing against a river flow. So let us now take a moment to orientate the size and the scope, the landscape of this river. The universal flow of money is infinite. It never stops. Although money is a human-created abstract, there is no limitation to human creativity, and therefore there is no limitation to money. We are stood side by side, facing into and against the river flow. Why do we do this? Why do we face the opposite direction of the universal flow? I'd like you to leave this question open for yourself to answer throughout today's session. Become aware now of this beautiful abundance, this money flowing through you. It is the energy of money. And if you're to reach into it with your hands and pick it up, it feels like you're picking up notes and coins, or in the digital sense, numbers, even cryptocurrencies. They all flow through the same universal flow. Where does the money come from? It is a cycle. Money, like many infinite abundance in this universe, they flow through an infinity loop. And so the reason that you're stood here in waist deep in this river flow of abundance, and that it continues to infinitely flow, is because money must be given for it to be able to be received. It must be received to be able to be given. To this extent, you just happen to be facing into the seemingly endless universal flow as it travels out to the horizon. And it also continues to flow behind you. It flows around you. If you look down at your body, money is constantly coming towards you and flowing around you also. Become also aware of the banks of the river either side. These river banks are really the collection places, the deposits, if you like. So whenever the river is flowing in abundance and overflows, which is really all the time, some people may choose to take some of that abundance and put it into their own banks, these bank accounts. And so they sit on the riverbanks, they stay in the riverbanks, and they don't move, or they move very little until someone interacts with it, taking that money in or out. I'd like you to relax your heart now. Relax your solar plexus at your sternum, just above your stomach. Relax your sacral chakra at the navel and your root chakra at the base of your spine. And as Chloe began to describe in her video, there are different frequencies of each of our chakras. Heart chakra around our midpoint frequency of our body, and the root chakra being the lowest. And that money comes into each of our chakras. This universal flow feeds each of our chakras depending on the vibration and frequency match. So when our frequency is lower, we're more likely to receive money for abundance that is connected with the ground and the earth. You may perceive this as, for example, your home, where you choose to place your roots, just as the root chakra is a bit like your root connection, your roots like a tree deep into the earth. and also helps you connect in with the abundance of resources. And it is absolutely foundational to your body. And I'm just helping Jon experience just now in his root chakra how that feels. When your root chakra feels full, you're then guided up to the sacral chakra. And this is a place of passion, sensuality, sexuality, and liquidity. And so this aspect of the sacral chakra is also where your love energy is in a more raw and unconstrained manner. The creativity and the infinite abundant flow of your sacral chakra allows you to receive money, to allow it to rain, allow it to flow. And many of you may also resonate with the sexiness, the sex appeal of money, that it has an attractive quality to it. And you may feel that at the top of the root chakra and coming up into your sacral chakra. And so when you feel those same emotions about yourself, when you feel excited, when you feel aroused and passionate about your life, you're also far more likely to be able to attract in money at that frequency into you, filling up your sacral chakra with the abundance, the universal flow of money. And now coming up into your solar plexus, feeling some of that fiery warmth. You may also resonate with receiving money at this vibration which is somewhat overlapping with both the sacral chakra and your heart. And this full stomach being able to open up and to feel that nurturing fullness, that true feeling of abundance, like you've just eaten a very large meal, just as Jon just did before today's video. And then coming up into your heart, you can also receive at that beautiful emotional connection with money. Feelings of I am worthy, I am abundance, I love myself, I am deserving to receive this universal flow. And although Jon did not request a meditation practice, perhaps you'll begin to feel in this practice just now the meditation qualities and benefits of immersing yourself in this universal flow of abundance, this never-ending cycle of receiving money. So take a look now, as you look across this universal flow of money flowing into your body. And if you reach down with your hand and open it up, open your hand up like a cup, you can pick up this beautiful, abundant energy and you can hold it in your hand and experience it. Feel into it. Feel its energy and its frequency. If it feels emotionally empowering and strong and fulfilling, place this money into your heart. Scoop up cups of this water and fill it in your heart. If it feels like this money fills you with a sense of fullness, of abundance, just like you've eaten a large meal, place it into your solar plexus. If it feels like this is more of a match for your sensuality and your sexuality, your passion, your creativity, place it into the navel, into your sacral chakra. If it helps you build the foundations of your home, your resources, your connection with the earth, place it into your root chakra. Wherever you've chosen to place this beautiful abundant energy, allow it to be part of you. Allow it to be within you. And I'd like you to know that this whole abundance that lies ahead of you as you face up against the direction of flow as it's coming towards you, this beautiful universal flow. It's true that most of this money is constantly flowing around you and bypassing you. And all you really need to do is open up different aspects of you and to gently receive this abundance into you. For example, as we demonstrated just now with the chakras. You may also be aware, as I said earlier, that this abundance is not just flowing cleanly and simply into you all by itself. It does require a little bit of practice. And there's one key thing that we're doing wrong just now, or should I say, that does not help optimize your flow of receiving. And that is to simply turn around. So perhaps you'd like to visualize now with me as we turn around. So we now turn our backs to the abundance. Because this river, this universal flow of money will never stop. It's now always flowing. When you know this in your heart, when you accept that for as long as humans create the concept, the abstract concept of money, and for as long as we open ourselves up to be able to receive it and to give it, this universal flow of money will always flow. And we can join in as part of that. We can be part of that. We can support part of that monetary flow. Simply by now turning our backs to the universal flow and looking ahead of us downwards, downstream. And what do we witness? We still see there are banks either side of the river, and yet the river itself seems to flow a little bit faster. It's almost like as we allow ourselves to feel a little bit lost and allow our eyes to drift out of focus, and we feel that energy of the river flowing downwards, down through this river all around us, we feel like we're being pulled back a little bit. We're no longer being pushed. And this is the attraction, this is the magnetic attraction, energy of money pulling us gently back. And it's also helping us stand up straight. And importantly, our chakras, the human chakras, are designed to receive in through the back, to give from the front and to receive from the back. And so now that your back is turned, you are now much more open to be able to receive. And allow your heart chakra to open, receiving the opening at the back of your heart. Can you feel that energy now of money opening and receiving it into you? Same with your solar plexus opening up and filling your belly with all the money you could ever need. Opening up your sacral chakra to receive any of the passionate aspects of your receiving, and then into your root chakra, opening up to receive. And if you observe now, it is also just as important for you to give. If at any point, just like a river, if it detects any slowing, any blockages, it will stop flowing in that area and simply bypass it. So if you feel tempted to hoard money in any way, you will slow down and eventually stop the receiving of money. So if you're tempted to hoard your money, to constantly save into bank accounts without clear purpose and intention to releasing that money, for example, if you're saving for a home or a holiday or a vehicle or something big, or a business, something big in your life, allow yourself to really connect with that feeling of letting it go. And so perhaps now every time someone is booking you for a service, they're paying you for your salary, however you're receiving the money in through the back of your heart or back of any of your chakras, any parts of your body, allow yourself to have clear focus about how you'd like to release that money and spend it. And if you notice now Let's take an example. Let's receive money into the solar plexus to help you with this feeling of abundance, a feeling full of self-love and trust and trusting in the universe. Allow the back of your solar plexus to gently open and receive money through into your solar plexus, filling your whole solar plexus chakra, and that feeling of fullness in your belly. And now place your hand onto your solar plexus and take some of that money and state an intention. And perhaps in this moment of abundance, you'd like to say, I would like to buy a service from someone else that, as they are able to serve me and they serve the highest good of all, I will buy a service from them. And so with this, you take that money cupped in your hand, that energy of money, and you place it into the river flow of abundance in front of you, and you release it. And just watch now, watch the energy of that as it helps just slightly accelerate the whole river. The more you give into this river of abundance, the more you will receive automatically in through the back. So coming from the upstream behind you, as you place more into the downstream, you will receive more. Giving creates more receiving. Receiving creates more giving, and so on. Allow your body also to highlight any areas within you that feel like they are somehow blocked, that they are wounded, that they perhaps have ancestral wounds, just as Jon invited in his ancestors into this session today. Ask our ancestors, show us within our bodies what patterns have we brought forwards in our ancestral lineage. What woundings have we brought forwards from our past lives into this now, into this body that need some healing? Whether it's the heart, the solar plexus, sacral chakra, root chakra, or any of the chakras, or any of the parts of the body, bring some love to this area now. And you can imagine your own self-love flowing from the center of your heart out through your right shoulder and right arm and out to your right hand. And place your right hand, on the part of your body that needs to be seen at this time. And where you find that wound, tell it, I see you. I feel you. I'm sorry you've had to experience this. I love you. I thank you. I forgive you. I release you, and I learn all the lessons from you, and release it. Release the energy. Release it deep into the earth, or release the source, or to never return here again. And allow your abundance to continue to flow. There are many more concepts and more detail to these practices that I've shown you today. I want to make one thing very clear. Those that choose to control humanity have encoded, especially around the heart and solar plexus, frequencies of money that directly align as close as possible to self-love and the feeling of trust and fullness. And so these feelings of money that flows through the monetary systems, that energy, when, for example, it is held within a large corporation and then paid to employees through their regular salaries, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, it is almost like this mothering, this false mothering of corporation to its employees as children, and this constant drip feeding of energy that is a kind of fake love. It never really fills your heart. It never really feels your solar plexus, your stomach. what it does do is act as a kind of false filling substitute, filling that gap, just not with what you really seek. And when you choose to engage with money in this fluidity, with clear intention, for example, to be able to receive money and to give money in service to others, and you become much more connected with your heart and clear, heart-led, heart-aligned, heart-centered intentions, this affects the money that you both give and receive. It affects the amount, increases and amplifies the amount. There is so much of this money magic concepts that the elites, the ultra rich of this planet, do not want you to know about. And yet, here it is, in plain sight, this universal flow of money and abundance becoming clearer and clearer to us. There was a time when Jon wasn't ready to receive this information, and perhaps neither were you. There is more for Jon to explore within these concepts, and I'm sure he has more questions just like you. For now, I encourage you to continue to receive this beautiful love, energy, and to give it just as you receive this beautiful high vibration money and you give it. And with this, I'll return you back to Jon. Wow. Wow, thank you, Maya. All this time, little Patch has been, look at him, it's so cute, snoozing away down there. Okay, warning you, inbound gulping noise. Oh, it's lovely. There's a lot of concepts there. Let me just extend this and then just bring you down a bit. Yeah, that was a lot. I must admit, the epiphany of turning my back on this universal river of abundance feels so powerful. You know, trusting that it's always going to rain, that the river's always going to flow. To turn your back on something, you know, we would often think of that as looking away and not, you know, choosing to block. And yet, when I did it, I immediately felt like my chakras just like immediately filling up with this abundance energy. And that felt really powerful, really beautiful. So thank you, Maya. Yeah, I just expected some answers in this. I didn't expect a practice. The practice felt really good and really immersive. And what also really fascinates me is, you know, this hoarding aspect. When we put money into our accounts without clear intention, it's almost like we're placing it onto this kind of heap, like heaping it either side of the river. And that's what it felt like with these, with the ultra rich of the planet, is that they, you know, they seek to hoard money and then to control it. Also, totally new concept to me was also the frequency of money. And it leaves me with questions about, you know, well, what about the money in my pocket? What about the money in my bank account? Is it high vibration? When I'd like to think so, and I must admit, it does feel like that. Someone said to me something about this recently. It might have even been one of my kids. Said something about, doesn't it feel just, I think they're paraphrasing, like, doesn't it feel just great to be able to receive money for the things you love? You know, receiving money for the things you love doing for others. In my case, you know, my quantum psychic healing sessions, which are my most prevalent in abundance. The receiving for that just feels so powerful. Oh, and I was having a conversation with my nephew yesterday, And he was saying, talking about getting a little bit of money from YouTube, and he was so delighted that, that here I am being able to get a little bit of income through like the advertising revenue. Excuse me, and your lovely memberships. Thank you. That there's this like feeling of, yes, okay, it does go through Google, and in the future, I'd love for it to not have to go through other companies who take their own percentage. Yet it is still it's like the kind of underlying raw energy of that money feels really empowering, because it's some of the things I enjoy the most. I enjoy right now, the things that I enjoy the most are one-to-one sessions with clients and doing this with you. And here I am, my motorhome, in the middle of Stirling city centre in a car park with Patch, while my wife is shopping in charity shops, which she loves. And a lot of my clothes are from charity shops. I just love it. This is for sure. And I love that, right? I love the energy of it. And so, yeah, that was also quite new to me, this concept of, the vibration of the money, because I was working for Amazon for 8 years prior to that. And that money felt very different. That feeling of, if you're eating like unhealthy foods, like maybe snacks, crisps, chocolate, whatever your guilty pleasure is. Like, imagine trying to fill yourself up to get enough nutrients from it. You'd have to eat so much, and you kind of get so ill. It'd be like that Super Size Me show documentary on it was on Netflix at some point, right? It's like you can just stuff yourself, you can gorge yourself on these lower vibration foods, but it's never enough, and it can lead you to wanting to consume more of it, right? Really, when you show your body high vibration sources such as, organic fruit and vegetables, and other high vibration foods, you need a lot less of it, right? And it feels so nutrient rich, and the energy of it so high vibration that it just feels great. And don't get me wrong, I still love, especially over this holiday period, wow, I've certainly eaten my fair share of snacks. I've tried, definitely help balance it out a little bit, with, rather than just reaching for a chocolate bar or something. I love, I'm a massive fan of nuts. And so there's like, there's some kind of middle grounds that you can achieve. It feels really empowering to be aware of that with money. There's this kind of extra dimension of money, which is vibration. And it's, of course, why, vibration of, if money is energy, that was the other big foundational concept for me, is that money being energy means that we can work with it in the same way we work with any energy, which is exciting, right? Gulp inbound. Oh yeah, and I wanted to ask before we finish today's video, because I touched on it in the previous video, I wanted to ask about there's two questions. One is, I'd love to ask about the future of money, because in prediction videos that I've been doing, when I've been channeling messages there, I've been shown that money starts to gradually lose its appeal. And I never quite fully understood the kind of energy of that. Some of the practical answers I was getting, the kind of logical answers I was getting, were things like, well, the way that we work with each other, especially in, locally, in families, tribes, groups, communities, that the commodities that we can exchange, we don't need to transfer something to money and back. Because that's another thing that's really bizarre about money, is that you can describe money as having a conversion loss. If I sell you something, there's like a kind of a loss of energy that goes to things like taxes or transaction fees. You know, for example, when you buy a £288 Great British Pound quantum psychic healing session with me online, about a third of that goes to transaction fees, international fees, and taxes. Well, it's at least a third. I think it's actually a bit more. And you know, when you donate through YouTube, 30% of it goes to Google. So there's often, like, in the kind of handling of money, and this is, I'm just being shown, my spirit guide Maya, she's showing me, you know, some examples of conversion loss, for example, in electrical systems, is that, you know, when you convert from one to the other, there is inevitably some loss. And so she's saying that in our future, what we discover as humans is that we don't need to go through that loss, that kind of leaky aspect of it. Instead, we can do things directly. You know, so if, for example, if I wanted to do a quantum psychic healing session and I wanted to pay for a week or well, it would be like a monthly shop of food. Instead, I could just do a quantum psychic healing session for a farmer that has that food, and then take the food as direct payment. And then there's no conversion loss in between, right? I don't need the £288. What I really need is the food, right? And that's such a funny way of thinking about money, is that we don't actually need the money to survive or to be happy and healthy. We need the things that currently we permission each other to give each other through the exchange of money. Okay, so let me ask a little bit more about that to my spirit guide, Mother Gaia. I love that. I'll happily ask Mother Gaia, any of my spirit guides, what happens to the future of money. So I'm just being shown immediately. So this is Mother Gaia showing me. She says it hangs around a lot longer in the third dimension, and it's this feeling of maybe kind of like as permanent as often permanency is in humanity, or as permanent as humanity is itself. The fifth dimension is a different answer. So there's this like very different energy in the fifth dimension. Yeah, Gaia says there becomes a lot more interest in, she's saying there's like a kind of frequency limitation to money. And she says that as a human construct, it can't reach, for example, you know that thing, you know that feeling of, it's a Beatles song, right? Money can't buy me love. It's because there's a frequency mismatch. It's because love is a far higher vibration than money can get to. Oh, very interesting. Because I just asked, well, how high in vibration can money get to? And Mother Gaia showed me in a human heart, just up to the bottom of the heart chakra. Now that is fascinating, right? Because if that's true, it means that, because love often exists like midpoint and higher, then it means that it gets so close. It's almost like you can stuff your heart with this kind of low vibration, fake love of money. But you still miss that feeling, that upper heart chakra feeling of true love, of real love. And she said, she's showing me nature, she's showing me some like trees, and then like these beautiful like rainbow energies flowing between trees in the fifth dimension. This is over the coming years here on Earth. And she's saying those frequencies can't be exchanged. Money doesn't really support that. And so we try it for a while. You know, we're trying to do this kind of high vibration exchange by bringing it through money, but it just doesn't feel right. And so eventually the use of money starts to tail off. And she says it still hangs around for a while in the fifth dimension because money is still compatible with some of the lower foundational aspects. She was showing me interest. She was showing me, she's drawing out little boundaries of land, for example. So you might be able to buy some land or a home in the fifth dimension using money. And she says even that over time, because we start to become less possessive and hoarding about land, when a rabbit's born or a fox is born into a wild fox or rabbit, it's not like given by source or Gaia like a specific plot of land, right? It's allowed to access anywhere in the world. It has abundance and no limitation. She says a rabbit and a fox, they call Earth their home, the whole planet. And she said this is what humans will begin to connect with as well, that even the boundaries that we place around our land will become much more, be less separated and more unified. Thank you. Okay, let me ask, and I'm sure more is going to come up in prediction videos about that. I have already shared more in my 8-year prediction video a few weeks ago. I'm sure as we go into 2026, I'd love to, I'm really keen to learn about, don't know about you guys, I'm keen to learn about like what are some of the things in the near term that start to change that we're less interested in money in. Because right now in my life, the biggest change that's happened since I started my business, working for myself, is that I do, for instance, I'll do 5 or 6 hours of one-to-one sessions in a week, paid one-to-one session with clients. And then I also do at least 5 hours every week of live streams for free, right? And they're not monetized live streams and optional donations, and even those are much rarer on, and it's because the intention is my intention is to serve, right? It's to serve and to reach as many people as possible, regardless of money. And I love that feeling in the short term of like transcending money. I just need enough to comfortably live off and to fulfill myself and my family's needs, and to feel abundant, and to, as one of you reminded me in a YouTube comment yesterday, to fill my cup first. So I'm very grateful and feel very abundant and thankful. And so I feel the way that things have worked out, that I've actually been able to almost like, what's it called? Like, it's a bit like when you go to someone who matches a charity donation. If you pay that charity £10, I'll double that to £20. And it feels like when you pay me for a one-to-one session, you're also allowing me to then, for a 1 hour session, you're also supporting me in reaching 100 plus people because I can then fund offering a free live stream for that hour in a week, which it feels so lovely, right? That there's amplification. That was something that I was kind of given glimpses of this morning. I've got so many questions about money. Let me just ask, so I've got 2 more questions. Let me ask about the amplification question, and then also I'd love to hear about just one other extraterrestrial race. How do they work with money? Do they have money or currencies? Let's ask. So first question about amplification of money. Okay, my spirit guide Marita has come forward, the Mantis. She says, money amplification is kind of like a boosting. She says it requires 2 inputs, like most amplification. It requires the original signal, which is the money itself, and then it requires a consciousness energy. So 2 inputs for 1 output. So she says it's the equivalent of adding more consciousness into money can amplify the money output. So as to recap, it's money and consciousness as an input, some sort of process, and then the output of more money. I'm just asking, is that what I was just describing? And she says, kind of. She says, what I was just describing, where someone buys, a 1 hour one-to-one session with me, and then I go and do an additional 1 hour live stream. She says that's more of like an abundance amplification, because it then expands beyond money, you know, because I'm not requiring money for the live stream, right? I'm basically saying every time I receive something, I then give even more. And she says that does really help. She says it's a part of my personal abundance is the more I'm able to give, the more I'm able to receive. So she says within the consciousness agreement, consciousess intention, when you receive some money, so I'm trying to ask her for a practical example. Okay, so if you're given £10 or $10, and you add your consciousness, and to do this, look at the number, if it's in your bank account, like you might be on your phone or computer, or on an ATM. Also look at it in cash form, like the notes or coins. And she says, place a clear intention with that money. And she says the higher, oh, this is beautiful. Wow. She says the higher the vibration of the intention, the greater the amplification. And this is because higher vibrations are higher energy. You know, that's the whole reason why they're vibrating higher, is because it's vibrating faster. So she says, my spirit guide Marita says, take your $10 or £10 and stare at it and say, I am going to spend this on a high vibration purchase. So for example, if you choose to show me like donations, charity donations, be clear about, you know, make sure that that's what they're actually going to do with the money, right? They're going to donate it to the good cause and not just take it for themselves. And she's saying also acts of self-love, they're very high vibration. So yeah, as I mentioned in the previous video, getting, you know, like a quantum healing, a Reiki healing, tarot reading, going to a spa, going to, you know, an ice bath, having a beauty treatment, going on holiday, investing in something that will help, you know, with high vibration food. It's the intention. So when you receive that money, say, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for receiving this money. I'm going to now invest it in something that serves my highest good and the highest good of all. Thank you, Marita. And I'm just thinking about all the things like, wow. And it immediately, as I was saying that, I was thinking, why should I start every time I receive a booking, say that to my client? Because wherever I can, I try and do a personal email back with every booking and say, thank you so much. Thank you for your booking. And wouldn't that be a lovely thing for me to say? Would be to say, you know, to set an intention with that money. You know, this, you know, even if I just say, this really helps me, supports me in my business with abundance to help more and more people each day. Wow. You can tell me this is like Jon having an epiphany. And I'm not just doing it to try and earn more money, and that's lovely. It's more I'm just thinking, this feels like it helps, you know, this way of receiving, because gratitude is such a high vibration frequency. It's always great practice to say thank you for everything, right? I always say to my kids, unless someone like verbally or physically attacks you, say thank you, right, for what they've given you. And that feels really lovely, you know, when you're receiving, to express that gratitude and set an intention, as my spirit guide Marita says. Wonderful. Okay, we're almost up in an hour. Wow. Let me also ask my spirit guides about other galactic races. I'd like to ask if they have money of any kind or not. Let me just gulp some coffee. Gulp inbound. Oh, it's lovely coffee. I greatly appreciate that coffee. Okay, so let's ask. So just asking one of my spirit guides Do you have a currency? My spirit guide, Eminshall's coming forwards. My Lyran. He's like roaring. He's going, Lyran, Lyran. And he's saying to me this human term. He's saying, for love or money. For love or money. He says, imagine that humans used love as currency. Imagine we had the option, how would you like to pay for that, sir? With love or money? And Eminshall says that, and Lyra, yes, they still have, and they used to have, in far more prevalence, in far more dominance was money. He's describing it as like he said they achieved a single currency, and it's like called, like, I think it's is it lycra? Sounds like lycra. Is it? Sounds like something you wear that's very tight. Yeah, he says you spell it lycra, and he said they'd call it lysra, or lice, Lyce, lice. And he said what started to happen is, as Lyra continued on into the fifth dimension, I know some people believe it's destroyed. Actually, it no longer exists in the third dimension. However, the fourth and fifth dimension still exists. So if you're in a high enough vibration, Lyra is still absolutely in existence. And he says, my Lyran guide Eminshall says, to some extent, there was this kind of almost experiment where they thought it'd be really interesting to try exchanges with love or money. So you could choose when you paid for something with love or money. That's why he started out saying for love or money. And he said it was amazing. So imagine going into a shop, right, and to buy something. And imagine you said to the shopkeeper, yeah, I'd like to buy this apple, please, or this cup of coffee. And the shopkeeper said, how would you like to pay, sir? With love or money? And you choose love, because we're more used to money. You'd take a moment, you'd open up your heart, and you would send this burst of loving energy from your heart to theirs. And imagine how the shopkeeper feels. They feel full with abundance of love in their heart, and not just in the lower aspect of the heart, right? How many shopkeepers or people that work in stores have you seen who look pretty miserable, right? And that could do with a love. In fact, why not offer them a smile today? For anyone that you encounter that serves you in any way. And I was shown that receiving love, it's slightly more complex, or I should say, it's not obvious in the moment about how it helps the shopkeeper giving them love, right? Because you might feel, for example, oh, does that mean the shopkeeper's going to go home and feel and not be able to eat and not be able to pay for their way, but they're going to feel filled with love? Well, this is where love comes in. Because remember, money isn't the only abundance. And actually, if you're abundant in everything, you don't need money, right? You don't need money to eat or drink. You don't, well, this sounds gross, you don't physically insert money into your being to be able to consume it, right? It's a proxy, it's an abstract. It's to help you access different things. And so the shopkeeper's vibration rises when they receive love. And I do sometimes feel, well, I feel that a lot actually with you watching this, is that the more you engage with me, the more you love me, the more you send me loving, kind comments, the more my heart, like I receive it in my heart, and I'm open to receiving your love energy for my highest good. And as I receive that, I attract in more abundance into my life. And it's not just money, right? Money is one aspect that I do attract more of as you send me your love energy. And it's really funny, right? Because there's no, love is also a part of the universal flow of the universe. It is also high vibration and flows infinitely. There is no requirement for humans to generate the concept of love. It exists all by itself without us humans, right? So yeah, this is what Em and Shell's saying, is that what they now really predominantly use is love energy. And that there's the way that they're able to exchange with each other by sharing with love is exponentially more powerful than money. And that, let me ask, I was really interested about the conversion loss. Like, does money become like a currency? Do people like keep love in bank accounts, like the equivalent of that? Does any of do any of those things happen? Said no, love is too high vibration really to be able to sustainably contain. Love requires, if you want to hold on to love energy, you have to have conscious awareness to hold it. And so it's unlike a bank account. It's much lower vibration money, so you can just hold it within computer systems, vaults, caves, treasure chests, like these sorts of things. Wow. And yes, on Lyra there are some campaigns to bring an end. They said lice, right? It's such a funny term, especially for the little tiny beings of lice on Earth, that parasitic aspect of lice. But yeah, there are campaigns on Lyra to remove their monetary system and just to fully replace it with love energy. And also, Em and Shell saying that the amplification of love energy also requires consciousness. Really, consciousness is the creator of love energy. Because Em and Shell says, because without consciousness, this universe doesn't exist. Without any conscious awareness, any conscious being, the universe cannot be experienced, and in that respect, it does not exist without consciousness. Wow. Well, thank you. We're over an hour. I was so excited, and a big thank you to Chloe Rose. Thank you for your inspirational work this year, and thank you for the amazing one-to-one sessions you've given me, Chloe, and helping me access some of my past lives, and some of them quite dark and emotional, and they're public videos, right, on Chloe's channel and on mine. And Chloe's connection, the way that she connects with money, I find deeply intriguing. And so today's rabbit holes of deep diving into these aspects of money with questions that I've never asked myself before really open me up. And I would love to keep doing something on abundance, because this is feels so much more grounded and stronger than some of the terms we're aware of, for example, with just manifestation. And it also really, a lot of today's themes really resonate with me with receiving. We kind of set ourselves up to receive, we position ourselves to receive, we create businesses to receive bookings from clients, for example. We don't, it's not about push, right? Which is what we're used to in the world. We're used to go and tell every single person in the world about your service. Like it's going to annoy a lot of people if I do that, right? It's going to reach a lot of people that don't really want to know about it or aren't ready for it. And yet if I'm standing firmly in this beautiful universal flow of abundance, and including money, with an open heart and a happy high vibration and gratitude, and my resonant frequencies matching those clients that I'm here to help, which is really the world, anyone that's ready to engage with me and support themselves on their life and awakening journeys, then I'll attract them in. And it's also explains why I much prefer investing my time and energy doing videos like this, just doing videos on YouTube full stop and live streams, than doing any adverts. I don't really do adverts now, and that feels so abundant, and it really resonates with me about receiving. Do the things you love, and you will attract the people that love witnessing you do what you do, whether you don't have to be doing it on YouTube, right? Whether you're doing it publicly or not. And I feel we always lead by example in whatever we do. Well, I better bring this video to an end. I'd like to thank our guides, our higher selves, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia, every soul that participated in today's session. Please remain in your individual protective bubbles for as long as you choose. I close the shared space down and return to Source, or never return here again as it goes up out the window. Please get plenty of rest and drink plenty of water. I'll post in the description of this video a link to my YouTube questions link. So there you can, it takes you a link to my website where you can ask questions. And if you have more money related questions, they would be a great place to add them, because they'll definitely get picked up in like either a predictions video or just a more ad hoc video like this. But thank you so much for watching. It's such an honor. Patch and I have really enjoyed it. Let me show you a little Patch. Everyone loves a bit of Patch. And my wife's been gone some time shopping at the charity shop, so I'm sure she really enjoyed it. And yeah, we're just going to pick up my daughter, and then we're going down to Edinburgh to pick up a son, and then we're heading home for the evening. And then tomorrow we're going camping again to a very magical place. I'm excited for that, for a couple of nights. So yeah, it's so much fun doing this for you and with you. So thank you. All right. Take care, everyone. Sending you so much love from the heart of Scotland. I love you.